And we're back. Welcome to another episode of Based on a Book, the podcast clumsily stumbling from one fantasy world to another. I'm your host, Crystal, and if ChatGPT tries to tell me it's angels, I'm swearing off technology for the rest of my life.
I'm Keri, and I think it's time to retire kids from apocalyptic prophecies.
And I'm Lindsey, and I think kids are scarier than specters.
That's true. This week we are continuing in the His Dark Materials series with Book 2, The Subtle Knife, and Season 2 of the BBC HBO show. This is a 2-part discussion, and you are in Part 2. If you have not listened to Part 1, go back. It's right before this one. Today we're discussing episodes 4 through 7 and offering our final verdicts, book versus show. But so far, let's take a temperature check. How are we feeling about the differences between the show and the book? Lindsey.
I'm all for the show. I love the show. The show is great. The book just hit differently.
Keri?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I do think that it follows the book pretty well. I mean, yeah, it does add a few extra things into the show, but I think it's a pretty decent adaptation. I will say, though, I did notice this time around that Lee's character in the show feels very different than in the movie. I feel almost that they are Disney-fying. I feel like I say that a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
Disney-fying the character, and I feel like they're definitely doing that in this show. And I'm kind of like, I need y'all to pull it back a little bit.
I wonder if they're Disney-fying it or if that's just Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely could just be how his interpretation of the character, for sure.
He is a Disney character.
Yeah.
I mean,
very animated.
He's very animated. I mean, let's face it, he's written Disney musical, like he is Disney-fied.
Yeah. And I'm afraid it shows a little bit in this. He feels much more serious in the book compared
to
the show. The show kind of he's a bit of a goofy guy in the show. He's just a goofy guy. He's just cracking jokes and a goofy guy.
I do. I think you're right on that one. So far, I'm with you. The show for me is really, it is following the story. We're getting, for the most part, we're getting a little bit of things that are eliminated, but a lot of things that are added. I think, although we do diverge in a couple of storylines, I'm not really sure that it matters much. But we are currently on the edges of our seats trying to figure out how Lyra and Will are going to get back the alethiometer. So let's jump into episode 4. Right?
I'm pissed.
So
I'm livid.
Lord Boreal has given them an ultimatum. If you get me the subtle knife, I will give you back the alethiometer. What is the subtle knife, you ask? Well, episode 4 opens with the tale of how it is forged. And this is, to me, like this is the fantasy trope that I love, right? That like the tale and the slow fading of images coming through and the ethereal voice telling you what happened in the past and what led us to now. It's so Lord of the Rings. It's
I never
so
thought
perfect.
of that as a fantasy trope, but I totally see what you're saying.
Absolutely. And I freaking love it. I fall for this every time. I am seated. I am sat. With my snack, I'm not even, because we all play on our phone while we're watching. No, phone down, eyes locked in. I'm locked in.
You're like, what is the lore?
Yeah, I want to know. So this was like, okay, hit play, just, I'm in it. And then that part was over, and don't get me wrong, I was still into it, but I was back on my phone again.
All right, adventure's over.
Right?
Yeah, adventure's over, wrap it up.
Yep. This episode is called Tower of Angels. There are so many references in this particular episode about people feeling manipulated by fate, by God, by men, by prophecy, by whatever. It's almost, I feel like you almost choke on it. Like, okay, I get it. I get it. But this is the episode where Lee Scoresby meets up with Stanislaus Grumman, John Perry, Joppery, all the same person.
Yeah.
And he's
God.
wackadoo.
Okay, that is my fantasy trope that I can't stand, is when
I'm with
one
you.
person has like 8 names.
Hate it. Hate it. I'm with
I
you. Or one
hate
place.
that.
I hate it when a
Yes.
place has a lot of names. Like, no, it is not. Like Lord of the Rings is bad about it, and I love Lord of the Rings, but I don't care what it was called 1,000 years ago. I don't care what the elves call it, what the dwarves call it, what what the Numenorians call it. I don't want to know. Just what's the name? One
Yeah.
name,
Yeah.
The one name.
the one name. And here we, John Perry, Stanislaus Grumman, Joppery, the shaman, wackadoo, but also kind of hot, low
Were
key
they
hot.
saying shaman in the show, or did they say shaman?
Okay, I think Lee Scoresby called him a shaman multiple times because it's Lee Scoresby.
Is that supposed to be his accent
I
coming
think
out?
so. I think so.
Okay.
Also, Andrew Scott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Andrew Scott. Also goes by Andrew Scott.
It's another name. A fourth name. My notes in this particular episode are short and to the point. So I'm going to let you guys expand on this. Will gets the knife and loses his fingers. Go.
In the book, it's his left hand. In the show, it's his right hand. Or I might be saying that backwards. I don't remember.
I didn't look that hard.
Oh, maybe it's because whatever hand it is, that is like, maybe he's like right-handed or something.
Right.
Like what
Right.
he would be using with a knife.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I think that this whole concept of the fact that whoever like holds the knife losing their fingers and things like that, like, I like this type of, is this a fantasy trope, I guess? It kind of feels like a fantasy trope where it's like you have like this destiny when something happens to you whenever you get a weapon.
Being marked by the prophecy.
Yeah, like you're marked by the prophecy when
Mhm.
you have to like do something to get that weapon or something like that.
Yeah. And it's not even necessarily like the weapon, but it is like, this is the thing that marks you as the person.
Yeah.
If you'd ever watched
And
The
now you
Mummy or
hold
The
that.
Mummy Returns, you would
Mhm.
know that the dude is marked on he's got a scar, tattoos on his wrists that marks him as one of the dudes who's gonna like return. You really do need to watch The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. Also, the boy that shall not be named is marked by the bad guy, and that marks him as the one. Like there's a whole bunch of like, it is definitely
I
a
like
fantasy trope.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm pretty sure there's something like this in Throne of Glass. Like I'm trying to think of something particular, but that kind of thing, I was like, oh, I really like that that's in here. And I like how it's done in the show. I actually rewinded it and watched that entire scene back again because it just gave me chills. And I like that it transfers from one person to another. Now this happened to you, so now this is your problem now.
Right. Like it happened to me.
Yeah.
I like, and now I'm seeing it happen to you, so I know it's my turn to let this go.
Yeah, and now I need to show you how to deal with it.
Right. And this is where we get, what did we decide his name was? Giacomo Paradisi.
Paradisi.
Giacomo Paradisi, the original bearer of the subtle knife. he's probably not the original, but the one in prior to Will, sees Will's fingers get cut off, knows it's his turn to let go of the knife, but he has to teach Will how to use it. Now, the kicker is that this knife protects him from the specters. And now that Giacomo has lost the knife, he knows
He's
he's
an
no
adult.
longer protected. So he
Mhm.
knows he has a short life and a short amount of time to explain what to do to Will. And he does. He explains it to Will. Will catches on quickly. I feel like in the show, he was a lot more friendly and loving towards Will. And that's what I'm looking for. Encouraging. He was a lot more encouraging
Mhm.
than he was in the book. In the book, he was like, "You got to get this done, bud. Let's go. Come on." I don't know. With the specters outside the gate, I probably would have been in a rush too. You know?
Mhm.
Did you know
Yeah.
that the actor who played Giacomo previously played Lord Asriel in the original BBC TV series
No, I
Magisterium?
didn't
Oh.
know
It's like
that.
the 2003 version, I think.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Very cool. In this episode, also back in our world, Will's world, Dr. Malone takes Lyra's advice and tries to get Dust to use words with her with the cave, the computer, and manages to make contact with Dust. And they tell her that they're angels. That's
Are we
normal.
liking this storyline?
Okay,
Are
listen.
we? I really need feedback on this.
Yes and no, because I think it's a little bit better done. It happens in the next episode where Mrs. Coulter visits Dr. Malone, and Dr. Malone says, she says, like, Dr. Coulter or Mrs. Coulter introduces herself as an experimental theologian. And Dr. Malone says, like, so where does theology intersect with science? And Mrs. Coulter says, where does it not?
Mhm.
And that, I think, is the point here, is that, like, high level science that we don't understand looks like magic. High level magic that we don't understand is just science we don't understand yet. So
Mhm.
I think that's kind of where, like, the religion and the science kind of merge. So I'm not loving the way the storyline was done, but
Yeah.
I don't hate the idea.
Yeah. What about you, Lindsay? What are you thinking?
Kind of like what Crystal said. I don't hate it, but it's also not my favorite storyline in the series right now.
Mhm.
I am hoping to see it, I don't know, intertwine better. I need
Mhm.
it. I need it to all come together, basically.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's
Yeah.
it's about to get next book gets weirder, worse and better. Worse and better.
Well, like whenever this was revealed, I was kind of like, "What?
Angels? Yeah.
Angels?"
But we also have to remember that they're trying to speak in terms that they think she'll understand. And we've learned that Dr. Malone, prior to being a scientist, was a nun.
Mhm. Yep.
So, whatever these beings are, maybe that was their only way of explaining what they were.
Mhm.
We don't have a better name than angel. We're some sort of divine spirit.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which is still weird, but whatever.
Mhm.
Mrs. Coulter is also taken into Will's world by Lord Boreal in episode 4, which leads us into episode 5.
Because he tells her that he knows where Lyra is.
Right.
Because that is literally her main purpose. Her main purpose is where's Lyra? I need to get to Lyra. That is
Mm-hmm.
the only reason. And she is aware that the witches have some type of there is a prophecy
Yeah, she
associated with Lyra. And so she wants to get to her to protect Lyra from whatever this prophecy is.
Yep. Yep. So in episode 5, we get a lot more references to the patriarchy and privilege, specifically where Mrs. Coulter meets Dr. Malone. And we see that like she goes to meet Dr. Malone to basically say, like, hey, I think you've met my daughter Lyra. I'm here to take her home. And she says, like, hi, you must be Mrs. Malone. And Mary says, doctor. And you can see right away that this kind of unnerves Mrs. Coulter. And then, you know, Dr. Malone starts asking more questions about her, like, oh, experimental theology, that sounds amazing. Have you had anything published? Like, wants to have a conversation with her, is interested. And you can tell right off the bat that Mrs. Coulter is uneasy with this. She is having some sort of reaction. She's triggered. And when Mary turns to, like, oh, let me get you a cup of coffee, Mrs. Coulter bolts. And we later see her back at Lord Boreal's house as they're waiting to see if Lyra and Will come with the knife. And she is trying to explain to Lord Boreal that, like, I went to school. I could have my doctorate. I had the highest scores. I was not allowed to call myself a doctor because I'm a woman. I've written so many papers and they would not be published unless I gave credit to a man. And you can see her being incredibly resentful and of course Lord Boreal, is playing this off of, like, that I found Dr. Malone to be prideful. I found her, like, you can tell right off the bat that Lord Boreal doesn't like that the women in this world have the freedom to an education, to their titles, to what they've earned. And, Mrs. Coulter's, she basically says, do you know who I could have been in this world? And this is when I really do identify with her, because I mean, like, how many times have you seen, like, in this world, the privilege that Dr. Malone has to be a doctor is something that, Marissa Coulter never had that. She was never, ever, the opportunity was never there. It was never going to be there. It didn't matter how hard she worked. It didn't matter how much she applied herself. It didn't matter how smart she was or what she did. She was never going to be called Dr. Coulter. And you can tell that in this moment, she's pissed.
Yeah.
And Lord Boreal is an idiot.
Yeah. And she is known as to be this person in rooms of men that commands them. Like, we see it throughout this entire series. She is the person that commands these people and will command the situation, and she will get the shit done.
And it makes you wonder, because we see her when she's not in the room, we see the Magisterium people or anybody else talking about her like she's manipulative, she's evil because she's a woman, all this. So, like, behind her back, they're talking shit about her. When she's in the room, they're obviously scared of her. They're intimidated by her, and it makes you wonder, is she that way because she had to be that way to get anything that she earned or worked for? And in a different world, would she have been a different mother? In a different world, would she have been a different person?
I'm telling you,
she's complex.
I could talk about this woman for ages. And you know what else is so crazy? So she's in this other world, and she goes and talks to Dr. Malone. That's her name, right? Dr. Malone. And she leaves her demon at home. And this is insane. This is like, I literally was shook. She leaves her demon, and, like, literally Boreal,
they're not
he's
supposed
like,
to be away from their demons. They're not
you're
supposed
not
to be-
supposed to. And Boreal's like, where's your demon? Like, where's your demon? And she's like, you don't know anything about self-control? And she leaves and her demon's, like, freaking out. Like, her demon is, like, really, like, upset and being, like, left in the room, leaves the place, and goes to the college without her demon. No problem. She's like, you don't know anything about self-control? I was like, oh,
Yep.
you crazy. Like, that's insane.
It is insane.
Like, I'm scared of her. I'm scared of Mrs. Coulter in the best way. Like, I think she is incredible. But, like, obviously not a good person.
Right.
In a lot of ways.
I liked when she was talking to Lord Boreal, and she's like, you've obviously been coming to this world for a while. You're established. You have this house. You have all these nice things. You could have been bringing back these great things from this world into our world and said, you've been here the whole time making things better for you.
Yep.
Just like collecting things.
Yep. Yep.
Just like have a little mini museum in your place.
And then he says something shitty about like, well, I did this and I did that. And she's like, we're not talking about you. This is not about you. I love that she like put him in his place.
Yeah,
And I don't know
it's
how
so
he didn't
good.
see like she's gonna kill him. We all know it. It's so obvious. And he's just like, oh, but she loves me. I'm doing good things for her and she'll be grateful. What is the
And this whole thing of her, like her perspective is just not in the book.
No.
And we don't see this dynamic part of her character and we don't feel these up and down feelings about her character in the book.
Mm-mm.
And I think that is such a disservice to this character.
Yep. It really is. But speaking of things not in the book, also in this episode, we see how Father McPhail, who is now Cardinal McPhail, he did become the Cardinal, is starting to lose his grasp, his control of the Magisterium a little bit as people start to question what's going on with the witches. The witches had then attacked a whole bunch of airships and made it through the rift, and people are questioning, like, what's this all about? Father McPhail is all like, you have lost your faith, and has Father Graves arrested and is now kind of in a panic and sends Fa Pavel with his alethiometer that they have and says, figure out where Mrs. Coulter is. Like, figure out what she's up to. Also in this episode, Dr. Malone gets gets officially assigned a task from Dust, Angels, whatever, to go protect Lyra and Will. And I don't think this was done as well in the show as it was in the book. Because in the book, Dust, whatever, Angels explains to her, pack for a trip, deceive the guards, go through the door, you'll be protected. You have to play the part of the serpent. In the show, it's like, go through the thing, deceive the guard, be the serpent, like, kind of, we will not talk again in this world, and then like shuts down the computer. I do like how
Yeah.
it shut itself down. I like that. But I just really feel like it was very you're a wizard moment rather than like come on, explain. In
Yeah.
the book, they're like, hey, you've got a task. This is serious. Pack a bag. You're going to be gone for a long
Yeah.
time. Like,
Me, I need a list. Like, I'm already
right?
confused.
Right.
Yeah, I need you to tell me more.
Right.
Something I noticed, like, right before that with the Magisterium, I actually noticed, I don't know if we talked about this in the Golden Compass, but, I've been really trying to pick out where everyone's, like, demons are, right,
Mm-hmm.
in the show, and I'm noticing that they're really, like, trying to hide them more, and they even say this, like, demons whenever Lyra's explaining this to Will, she's like, demons are sometimes hidden, they're hidden on their person, they're not always shown, and they kind of show that more in the show in order to probably not be showing demons all the time.
Right.
But I noticed with them, with the Magisterium, they all have like some sneaky ass demons. Snakes,
Lizards,
spiders.
spiders. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
lizards,
Beetles. Yep.
insects. Yeah, I noticed that this time. Like when they're all sitting at the table together, like evil little creatures.
It's mentioned in the book when we're in Will's perspective and he's speaking with Lord Boreal before he knows who he is, and he thinks he sees the serpent in his sleeve, which is really our first hint at who he is.
Yep.
I think at that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lyra and Will, now with the knife, decide to cut from their side in Chittagazzi into Will's Oxford
Mhm.
kind of creeping up onto Lord Boreal's house.
Do you guys like how it looks in the show?
Yes, I
I thought it
love
was
the.
so well done.
But I do have one complaint.
Okay.
This knife cuts into all the worlds. We are led to believe that there are lots and lots of worlds. How is it that he only ever cuts into the right one?
I was wondering that because they're like in the in between world, right? That's
Right.
technically what this is.
Chittagazzi is where all the windows are supposed to open to.
Right.
Is it because you have to think it? Like I want to go to this specific world.
I don't know. I
Yeah, I don't
don't
know.
know. He doesn't really say in the book,
Yeah.
and it doesn't indicate that in the show at all. But we definitely like as they're cutting, they'll cut a window and they're like, okay, we need to go like one more block this way or whatever. And so they try to figure out where one more block will be, and then they cut another one. But it keeps going back to the right Oxford. Like you would think that it's at least at one point he would have cut accidentally into Lyra's world. We know of at least one other, but he keeps going to the right one. That's a plot hole that I don't like. But maybe
Yeah.
it'll get filled up in the Amber Spyglass. It has been like 20 years since I read it. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they do cut their way kind of, block by block, getting closer to Lord Boreal's house and decide that they're going to cut. Like in the book and in the show, it's a little bit different. I feel like it's a little bit less in the book, that it's not quite as dramatic. But in the show, like they don't realize that Mrs. Coulter is there. Lyra goes to like ring the doorbell to distract them while Will cuts in right in the room that they think that the alethiometer is in. Will gets caught by Mrs. Coulter's demon, and
I love this part.
this is done really, really well, I think.
It was like almost like that part when they're screaming at each other again. I felt like we were back there again.
Yeah, we were absolutely back there. It was so perfect.
Oh my gosh. Whenever Lyra comes in and she realizes Mrs. Coulter is there, and Mrs. Coulter finally, this is them seeing each other again for the first time in like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since, this whole Azrael thing went down.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in a different world too. Like
They're both in this. Yeah.
yeah.
And literally, we saw in this scene Lyra become Mrs. Coulter for a second.
Mm-hmm.
She was channeling her mother.
Yep.
This should just be called the show of mommy and daddy issues, to be honest.
It is.
It literally
It
is
is.
Will with his daddy issues, Lyra with her mommy issues. This is what the show should be called. She literally channels her mother for a second.
Pan attacks Mrs.
Yes.
Coulter's demon, who we never learn that demon's name, but attacks the golden monkey. Lyra is just like letting him, like encouraging him. She's just standing there frozen, like.
But the way that she like
on her face, yeah.
The way she sicks the demon on,
yeah,
it's the same way Mrs. Coulter does
yep,
it.
with that little like that nod, yeah. And Mrs. Coulter is literally letting her demon get trampled while she, like manages to stand back up and is fighting against it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but Will manages to grab the alethiometer. They cut a hole through. They jump out of there just in time and seal up the window afterwards.
Did you notice that Pan becomes a Wolverine?
Yes.
Which Daphne Keene was in the movie Logan, who's based on Wolverine.
I'm from Michigan, so I hear Wolverine. I'm like, go Big Blue, but
boo.
Hey. So at this point, Lyra and Will go back to Chittagazzi. They have the subtle knife and the alethiometer at this point. Mrs. Coulter and Lord Boreal have to regroup. And at the end, he's like, you let her go. And she's like, you didn't tell me they had a knife that could cut through worlds. Like, because he's a jerk. But now we're in episode 6, which is called Malice. Paula and Angelica and some other kids attack Lyra and Will because they blame Will for Tulio's death / zombification by specters. Ruta, Scotty follows some angels. Serafina manages to find Lyra and Will in the book and the movie right at the moment when they are needed to be rescued from these
I love
kids.
this scene. That was such a good
Mhm.
scene. I felt like it wasn't as good in the show, though. Like, in the book, it was better.
In the book, it was very dramatic. In the
Yeah.
show, they're like on a rooftop. I can speak.
I
Kind
did
of.
not think that was the word you were trying to say.
I don't know what I was trying to say. They are on a rooftop in the show, and like they're kind of cornered, and Serafina just lands.
Yeah, she just lands there. In the book, it's more I like a good dramatic, like,
Yeah,
rescue
it's very
scene.
dramatic in the book. Like they're climbing this tower trying to get away, but like Will's cutting through, but realizes when he cuts through that they're up in the air, so they can't just, and they're at the point where like these kids are climbing the walls trying to get to. It's very
And they're
dramatic.
screaming.
And they're screaming, and the witches can't land because they can see the specters, and it's
because I think she sees her demon first. Like, Lyra sees Serafina's demon
well.
first.
Now remember too, in the book, Lyra knows who Serafina is. They've met.
Yeah.
In the show, they have not met. In the show, Lyra and the kids at Bolvanger are saved by the witches, but the witches literally just show up. Or it was only one witch. Serafina shows up, saves the day, and books it, and then meets
Yeah.
up with
That's true.
Lee in the balloon.
Yeah.
And so Lyra doesn't recognize them right away in the show. Dr. Mary Malone, is wandering around Cittàgazze now, just taking in the sights, completely protected by angels. And Angelica and Paula kind of realize that, like, why is this adult wandering around not being attacked? Does she not know what the hell's going on? And they kind of meet her, and they basically are like, you shouldn't be here. This is dangerous for you. And somehow they I guess they realize that like she must be safe, and they have a moment of hugging her and holding her, and like, you
Yeah,
can
because they
stay with
haven't been
us.
around adults.
They've been on their own, at this point for so long, that they're just kind of desperate for any sort of, I guess, adult guidance, adult love. Like, I don't think there's
Yeah.
any kid who wants to be, lost like that.
Yeah, it was really, that part was really sad.
It really got me. The actresses that played Angelica and Paula,
Bella Ramsey.
their roles got extended to these scenes specifically because their chemistry was so good on screen, that they extended those roles. And honestly, this little tiny bit of them looking for adult affection, looking for care and concern, and their grown up, or any grown up, I thought was really beautiful, and I liked that was added.
Yeah.
Mrs. Coulter convinces Lord Boreal to go through into Cittàgazze, even knowing like Lord Boreal's trying to tell her about the specters and warn her about the specters, and she's like, tell me more about them, and he kind of tells her, and you kind of see her going,
She's like, dust.
Yep.
Gosh, she's so smart. She's so smart.
She's so smart. And so she convinces him to go through to Cittàgazze, and they do, and she figures out how to control them.
Which is like, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's crazy. She's crazy. Like,
She's
I'm scared of
crazy.
this lady.
But she literally like separates herself from her demon in order to do it. She blocks off, she tells him, I just block away anything that makes me human, and then they're not interested in me.
I forget the exact quote that she says in the show, but it was like something like, when you know so much about it, you can
You can
like
control it.
control it. And Like, because she knows everything about dust. She knows the ins and outs of dust.
Yep.
And that's why she has so much self-control over it. And that's why she's able to literally control
Yep.
specters, which is like mind-boggling.
This is the moment in the show where she poisons Lord Boreal. In the book, it's a little bit different. She does kill him.
It's very different in the book.
It's very different in the book. There's like a weird seduction scene. It's very weird.
Yeah. And honestly, it had me thinking, I'm like, yeah, what do your demons be doing when that is going down?
Okay, listen, you know what? I know this is like technically a kid's book, but I feel like this is an interesting like conversation, so we're going there.
I mean, they brought it up in the book. So.
Yeah,
They brought it up in the book.
first. They did it first.
Mhm.
Like, okay, so your demon is your soul, right?
Yeah.
So I would feel like sex in any way, like there's a big difference between like having sex and making love. So I would feel like it depends. Like if you're making love, that's not like on a soul romantic level. Like that is probably when your demons really do partake. I don't know how. That'd be weird, especially depending on what kind of demons they are. Nope, didn't want to go there. Sorry, I'm backing out of this conversation now. I know it was my idea, but this is a bad
Like,
one.
what are they doing?
It's
Oh my
weird.
gosh. I need to know what they're doing.
I know, right? I don't.
I'm scared to know what they're doing.
I promise you, there's fanfic out there, and if there isn't, there will
Ew!
be after this. So
Why? Because you wrote
no, not me. No, but we promise you, somebody's come up with it already. But
Yeah.
you know,
I was like literally thinking, I'm like, what? Yeah, what are their demons doing?
weirdness. They're snuggling.
Like, are they in the room?
Well,
I
they
mean,
have
they
to
were
be.
in this scene. They can't because they can't be that far away from each other.
Yeah.
It hurt most normal people with a demon. It hurts when they get too far away from their demon, and they can't.
Yeah.
Mrs. Coulter's an exception, and
Yeah.
And the
witches.
witches.
So the next part of
True.
this episode, or to catch up with Scoresby and John Perry, Joppery, Grumman.
John
Dash,
Jacob
dash, dash.
Stickelheimer Schmidt.
Yeah.
Schmidtinski. They are attacked by Magisterium airships and are forced to land in the book and in the show. Joppery uses his shaman powers to shaman up some
Some wind.
winds, and in the show it's birds or crows of some kind and storms,
And the whole time they're just trying to get to the person that has the
they're
knife.
just trying to get to the knife bearer.
Yeah.
He's just got to get to the knife bearer. Episode 7 is the last episode in the series. There were meant to be 8 originally. There were 8 written, but the pandemic struck and shut down filming. Luckily, they had already recorded all of the 7 episodes and part of the 8th, and they were able to fit in part of the 8th into this one, which was actually meant to be, I think, was supposed to be episode 4, and it was supposed to be about Lord Asriel and what he was up to, basically a lot of his perspective. But they did shoot parts of it, and that is that ending scene here in episode 7 that we'll get to in a little bit. But first, we enter with Ruta Scotti overhearing some cliff ghasts talking about a weapon that Asriel needs called the Asa Hater, which uses funky letters. And this is why listening to the audiobook is amazing, because that word would have stopped me in my tracks when I was reading it. It would have
Yeah.
completely taken me out of the story while I figured out how to pronounce that. But it's Asa Hater. Ruta Scotti then makes her way back to meet up with Serafina Pekkala. Serafina and the witches are now with Will and Lyra and traveling with them through Chittagazzi, basically saying that, like, we're here to protect Lyra. Whatever Lyra needs, we're here for. Lyra says she has to go with Will, so guess we're following Lyra and Will.
Mm-hmm.
Mary takes Angelica and Paola to the adults' campsite. And in the show, we see her begin to start following like flower petals of some kind. This is not in the book. Once she enters into goes into the rift in the book, we don't really hear from her at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Scoresby is holding off the Magisterium so that Joffrey can go find the ring bearer. Lee Scoresby and his demon Hester are behind some rocks. They're reminiscing about old times because they know they're not going to survive this. At the very last moment, after he's already been shot multiple times, he remembers that they have the piece of cloud pine and can call for Serafina Pecola, and they do so with their last dying breath.
Mm-hmm.
You had that the whole time, and you didn't think to use it until the very last second.
I know.
I was so mad.
This death was shocking to me.
I kept thinking she still was going to show up and save them. I kept thinking, but
did you predict this at all, Lindsay?
No. And let me tell you, I was listening to the audiobook and I was doing something while I was listening and I literally heard it and I stopped and I said, "Are you kidding me? What just happened?"
Like the way it
down.
was said, it was like, and they like looked at each other and they both died. And I was just like,
and then they died.
What?
Yeah.
This is another one of those Shakespearean deaths, believe it or not. I can't even remember which Shakespeare play it is where he just writes he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes a death doesn't need poetry. It just is. And that is the most impactful thing you can say.
Mm-hmm. He said he did.
And I don't know about y'all, but I was also listening to the audiobook. I was also doing things around my house. And I had to sit down and I cried.
Yeah.
I cried.
I think I was just more shocked in the audiobook, but I
kept
cry.
thinking he would be saved.
I did cry in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I read this book again 20 plus years ago. I kept thinking he was going to be saved. It's a kid's book.
The part where he's looking at his demon and he's like, "Don't you go before I do."
Oh,
you better shut up right now.
Done.
You better shut up.
Done.
That really got me.
Goosebumps, man. Mm.
Yeah, he's like, don't you go before I do.
Killed me. Joffrey does manage to then find the knife bearer who in the book, he doesn't know that that's his son.
Mm-hmm.
In the show, Will recognizes his dad because he's seen pictures of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think in the book we just can't see his face. It's kind of dark or wherever, you know, and they don't see each other well. In the show we get kind of a touching scene of, you know, Will confronting his dad. You left me, and his dad being like, I did.
His dad's like the whole time trying to just get to the person with the knife. He's like, it's my son. Like, dang.
Yeah. He had no idea that was going to be his kid. And you can tell they have a moment of like, Will gets to confront his dad. He gets to speak his mind for a minute, but he also, like, you know, John Perry also gets the chance to say, like, you are strong, you are a warrior, and I'm proud of you. And that was kind of a beautiful moment. We don't get that in the book. Quite the opposite. In the book, he's just like, he says, you're the ring bearer. You have to get this knife to Lord Asriel. You have a task to complete. Do whatever it takes. And then a witch shoots him right as they're looking at each other. And they both realize it in that instant, but he dies.
Yeah, okay, so why? Why did the witch kill him?
Because they were lovers?
Yeah. That's what it's... I was like, what?
Witches scorn, like, a witch scorned is a bad thing. And it comes up a few times in the books. But, like, I don't know why.
Yeah, like, that was so bizarre to me.
It was.
I was like, that was so unnecessary.
Did not like that.
It made more sense in the show because they were being followed the whole time by the Magisterium. So it made sense that that's how he died.
Right.
He was shot by them.
He got shot in the back, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But his jacket didn't have a hole in it.
Shaman.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like, instead of, like, pushing Will out of the way, he just, like, covered him and stood there.
Right.
We couldn't push them; they were on a cliff.
Yeah, true. I was just like, you didn't think the bullet was gonna go through you or something? Like,
It was just messed up.
I was like, that's interesting
Either way,
tactic.
Joffrey, Grumman, John Perry,
Dash,
John
dash, dash.
Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Connor.
Yeah, he gone. He gone. Oh, we didn't even talk about the fact that we find out, like, Mrs. Coulter has this whole moment with a witch
Yes.
with the specters, because she's controlling the specters now,
Right.
and she is looking for Lyra
I
and
was
finds
getting
a
there.
witch.
That was the next thing on my list.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
But she does. She finds a witch, and because she's in Chittagazzi now,
Yeah.
and the witch is gonna like head back into town because they saw an adult into town, and they want to make sure the adult with a demon knows that this is a dangerous place. They got to get out of here, only to discover it's Mrs. Coulter.
Mm-hmm.
And Mrs. Coulter's like, I got you trapped now because she's got the specters, and she tortures this one to find out what's this prophecy about Lyra, and we find out that Lyra is known in the prophecy by another name. And she's like, what's the name? She goes, it's Eve.
Yeah. And this is like, it's all getting very, very religious. Like, it's getting
it's so religious.
So religious.
Super religious. Just seriously, I'll wait till next book. I don't remember much, but I remember a little bit, and it's wild.
And she's like, she's knowing that this, like, the second fall or something is coming.
Yep.
And I went and looked into this because I was like, what does that mean? Because as someone who is, I'm not religious whatsoever, but I had to go look up what the heck that meant. And in terms of Christianity, to describe the transition, this is what the definition is. To describe the transition of the first man and woman from a state of innocent obedience to God to a state of guilty disobedience.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, this is interesting.
It's Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden being tempted by the serpent.
Mm-hmm. The serpent.
Yeah. Yep.
Play the serpent. Yep. Dr. Malone.
Mm-hmm. So we got these angels trying to convince Dr. Malone, and like even kind of helping along Lyra and Will to play this role, this part. And we have and Azrael trying to get them to do this, right? But we have Mrs. Coulter actively fighting against that happening. She does not want that to happen. And she finds Lyra, and this is in the show, not in the book. She finds Lyra and captures her.
Mm-hmm.
This is when we see our end scene of the episode where Lord Azrael is making a speech just to the air.
And this is the first time we're seeing
it's the first time we've seen him all
season.
All season. Again, though, that was COVID, so.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to read this part because part of his speech that he's yelling is actually really hits. He says, "My fight is with the authority and those doling out cruelties in his name, those who seek to divide in order to control, and who have built worlds founded on privilege and divine right rather than care and need. I fight for freedom of knowledge, and in place of deceit, intolerance, and prejudice, I fight for the possibilities of understanding, truth, and acceptance, but I cannot win these things alone." And in that moment, I was on Lord Azrael's team. I was like, I'm fighting with you, bro. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Down with the authority. Like, he won me. But then the angels pop out. Like, he's screaming into this nothing. He's yelling this. And, like, angels start to pop out. And they're basically like, we're with you. Let's go. So that was pretty cool.
Back and forth with Azrael. Like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Like, he's good, then he's bad, then he's good.
I think he's ultimately good. I think he did bad things, and the means do not always justify the ends, you know?
And I think, like, if we remember Azrael, I think Azrael and Mrs. Coulter, they were, like, on the same side at one point. Like, working together.
Mm-hmm.
And then they, went separate ways, but I don't remember why. What the circumstances were.
I think they had to.
Yeah.
Because of the baby.
Yeah. but now, Mrs. Coulter taking Lyra, and it's like, I'm not letting any of this happen. I'm not letting you be anything a part of this prophecy, part of whatever is happening.
Yep.
I'm going to protect you at all costs. And in the show, I was like, what the heck? She
got
had her
Lyra in a box.
in a box. Well, she's like traveling with this box, and I was like, please don't tell me Lyra's in there. And then she
Right.
opens it, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
I thought the
Mrs.
same thing.
Coulter.
But then, did you guys hold on and see the post-credit scene?
No.
There's a post-credit scene. It's very short. It is Roger, and he is calling out Lyra's name. And Lyra goes, Roger, Roger, and he yells, Lyra, Lyra, and she goes, what is this place? Darkness.
I just got full body chills. I did not see that.
So good. So good.
I literally got head to toe chills. I did not see that at all.
Wild. Okay. Well, that's it. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
So, and I mean, I guess I don't really have to ask. What did we think, book or show?
I have to go show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
People probably will hate me for that, but I like the show more.
It's so good.
I like this book better than I liked the first book. I enjoyed reading because I think because I knew the characters and stuff. But honestly, this show just slaps. It's so good.
It really is.
I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see where we fall after reading the next book and seeing the last series. But that brings us to the question of the episode. In the Golden Compass, Lord Asriel blasted his way into another world in the most dramatic way possible, literally changing the magnetic poles of the planet he was on. We found out in The Subtle Knife that there was definitely an easier way to do this, a very classy way to get it done by gently cutting through between the threads of time and space. But what is something that you wish there was a subtler way to accomplish? Keri?
I'm going to say listening in on other people's conversation.
That's fair.
I always think of that one infomercial. You know what I'm talking about.
Exactly
that used to be on.
I had one of those.
No, you did not. It was like that Listen Up infomercial where it was like they would have it where it's like, if you need to like, you can't hear the TV, or you need to like hear conversations, or you can hear your neighbor from across the street 100 feet away and hear what they're saying. I need that. I need that today.
It didn't work.
Because I can't hear shit. I need that now.
Super subtle. Super subtle.
Yeah.
What about you, Lindsay? What'd you think?
Me. I wish I could exist subtly.
Oh my gosh.
That's fair.
I'm always like tripping or falling or walking into something, and it's usually really loud. So
knees cracking as you're walking.
Popping. Yeah.
I feel that.
Me.
For me, I literally thought of this question while I was trying to get on this like somewhat compression-y sports bra. And I was like stuck and trapped in it. There. Oh, it's the worst. Any sort of shapewear, Spanx, anything like that. There is no graceful way to get that on. But I did ask my daughter what she thought, and she said that eating things like crab legs, lobster, crawfish, like anything like that, there's just no cute way to do that. So that was funny. Well, how did we do, guys? What did you think of our conversation on The Subtle Knife? Check out our socials and let us know. Or follow the link in our show notes to submit an adaptation you'd like us to cover, because next season we'll be dedicating 3 episodes to listener submissions. Get yours in now. Don't forget, next season we will be catching up with Lyra and Will as we read The Amber Spyglass and watch season 3 of His Dark Materials. And of course, you can join us next week as we continue 50 Shades of Grey with 50 Shades Darker, hosted by Keri. Ooh. But until then, don't forget to close every door you open. Don't wait until it's too late to ask for help. And don't blindly trust chatbots. See you on the next chapter of Based on a Book. Bye.
Bye.